Hi guys, Buns here. So in this episode of All Baller Months, what I'm going to go through is I'm going to go through three playoff series the first round. We're going to go through Lakers and Timberwolves first. Then we're going to go through the Nuggets and the Clippers second. And then finally we're going to get through the Warriors and the Rockets matchup for the first round. The first one we're going to go through is Lakers and Timberwolves. So for the Lakers and Timberwolves series, I'm just going to go through a couple of pointers that I noticed watching this series throughout. My prediction at the start of the series was Lakers in 6. I probably underestimated the Timberwolves before the series, but after watching Game 1 and maybe Game 2, even Lakers won Game 2, I still felt like the Timberwolves thoroughly outplayed the Lakers. What I want to say first of all is well done to the Timberwolves. They deserve to get through to the next round of this playoff. They thoroughly outplayed the Lakers. I felt it was always going to come down to two things. It was going to come down to the duo in this series. So is the Lakers duo of Luka and LeBron going to outplay the Timberwolves duo of Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, which Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards completely outplayed LeBron and Luka, which is crazy to think about it. I would say Anthony Edwards, he's an absolute superstar. I believe he can generally be the face of the league if he actually embraces it. If he wants to be the face of the league, I believe he can be the face of the league. He's a brilliant player. His all-round game has improved a lot in the last maybe season and a half. There's not else I can say. I can't really say anything negative about him. He does it on both ends of the court. What I would say about the Lakers duo is that Lakers duo LeBron and Luka. LeBron is older. He's 40 years old now. Maybe LeBron is prime, even maybe 3 years ago, would have gotten through this series like they did 3 years ago when they got through to the conference finals. So LeBron and Luka, they mesh well together. They play well together offensively, but defensively, I feel like Lakers definitely need to acquire some talents in the offseason, especially defensive talents. Maybe some 3-and-D guys to make sure this team doesn't go out in the first round again next year. In regards to the Timberwolves, I felt their coach outcoached the Lakers coach in JJ Redick, which I felt JJ Redick was very stubborn, especially in Game 6. In Game 6, where he literally just Game 6 where he literally just stopped not playing any big guys at all. He left Hayes on the bench when Rudy Gobert went off with I think 27 points and 21 rebounds. Like, if you're getting knocked out by Rudy Gobert in the playoff, then there's definitely something wrong with your team. And what I would also say in Luka is I feel all his peers are passing him out. Anthony Edwards, for example, I think Anthony Edwards is better than Luka at the moment. I think Luka in the offseason needs to take a hard look at himself. He needs to work on his conditioning, first of all, and he needs to work on maybe sharing a bit more of the ball with the players on his team, because you're not going to, it's similar to the way James Harden played in Houston. It was just James Harden ball every single time ISO. Like, they're going to put up big numbers, like 30-point game, 40-point games. You can get high 30-point triple-double, but when it comes to the playoff, where the opposition team are putting a high pressure on the ball in your own half, so the shot clock can run down, you're just not going to win a championship doing it that way, unfortunately. I think Luka's game needs to maybe just adjust a little bit in regard, and especially his condition. I think Luka's condition needs to improve a lot. I don't think I'm the only one. I think everybody's saying that at the moment. And I feel like all these players pass him out. Like, Jason Tatum's passed him out. Jason Tatum has a ring. Anthony Edwards has passed him out. Jokic has passed him out. Well passed him out. And a few others as well. What I would say as well in regards to LeBron is this is the first time I've watched LeBron as a LeBron fan maybe in over a decade, and feel like he can still impact winning, but however he can't impact it like the way he used to impact winning, which is kind of sad, because everyone knows I'm a huge LeBron fan. But however, we have to understand that he's 40 years old. LeBron is not going to impact winning like he used to, and when you look at him play the other day, I know he played great defense down the stretch in the game. However, offensively, he just wasn't good enough. And I saw a great point there where they say you can't praise LeBron for having great games when he's 40 years old, but then you can't then you have to criticize him as well when he has bad games. As a LeBron fan, I just wish he'd retire, because I don't want people to remember him not being the same LeBron that we grew up watching. It was kind of disappointing just watching LeBron go outside the other day. That's my 2 cents on it, basically. I feel like The Timberwolves next round they got the Warriors, which the Warriors progressed on from their matchup from with the Rockets, which I believe I picked the Warriors in 6, but Warriors got it done in 7. I felt ultimately the experience would tell eventually in the series, which it did. And also I would say shout out to Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, just experience, and especially Jimmy Butler. Wow, we had some big games in, especially I think in game 1, and I think game 3 as well. He had a big game as well. But fair play to the Rockets. They're a very young team, and I believe in the next couple of years they can do something special together. And I like their coach a lot, Ime Udoka. He's a very, very good coach. I think he just made the finals today there for Coach of the Year candidate, which is very good to see. Just touch back on the Rockets really quickly. I felt Fred VanVleet was absolutely brilliant. I would have loved to see them progress. Just the way Fred VanVleet was playing was absolutely immaculate. It reminded me a lot of the time him and Kawhi won the championship in Toronto. The guy was absolutely brilliant. I thought he outplayed Steph Curry in this series. I thought Fred VanVleet outplayed Steph Curry in this series. However, the Warriors team were way too experienced, and they eventually beat the Rockets. And I also want to touch up on Jalen Green. Like on my preview for the series, I felt Jalen Green would have to be special offensively for them to have any chance of progressing. Jalen Green had a big game 2. I think he got 38 points in game 2. However, ever since then, he's been in a low double digit or just single digit game. I know young players are consistent in the first playoff run, but if you're not going to score, can you help me with something else on the court? Can you defend? Can you play make for your other teammates? I know he was complaining about being double teamed and trapped, but that's where I understand he's still a young player, and I think eventually he will grow to become a multiple time All-Star in the league. But I think it's going to be this was a tough learning curve for him, and I think the Rockets might look to trade him in the offseason for maybe an experienced player. I think you should keep an eye out for maybe Kevin Durant going to the Rockets for Jalen Green and maybe some picks or something like that. And just to touch up on, and also the Warriors. The Warriors for me, I don't know what to say about the Warriors. I feel like the Warriors have Nuggets. Sorry, the Warriors have Minnesota in the next round. I'm picking Warriors to go through again just because of their experience. When you have Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, and playoff Jimmy is a real thing. I remember witnessing Miami, and he was brilliant a couple of years ago in Miami for I think 2 playoff runs, maybe 3 playoff runs. I remember 2021 they got to the final to play the Lakers, which they lost, and I think they got to the conference final maybe once or twice. And Jimmy Butler was amazing. And Steph Curry had one big game this series. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan, but people might not think so because they were criticizing. I criticize all great players because you expect greatness for them every single time they touch the court. Injured or not, I expect you to be great. When you're a great player, you're all-time, you're a generational all-timer. I expect you to be great every time you touch the court. Game 7 was a huge game because I felt, no matter what happened, I felt the Warriors were always going to go through. I know some Warriors came down from 3-1 down, but I still had big. I had a big belief in the Warriors going through. And also, what I would also say is, if I think the only thing that can beat the Warriors in these playoffs are Celtics and maybe the Denver Nuggets. Those are the 2 bad matchups for them because I believe the Warriors are a very, very good defensive team. They're a great defensive team, in my opinion. The Warriors are. And the last one I'm going to touch up on is the Nuggets and the Clippers for our first round playoff series. That was a hell of a playoff round. In my opinion. It was my favorite playoff round of this playoff series of this round. I mean, I believe, like I said in the preview, I believe the Clippers go the way James Harden go, and James Harden, my friend, that brother put up a stinker in Game 7, which is to be expected from James Harden. Now we know what James Harden is like. No matter what he does the rest of his career, he's probably one of the all-timers as well. But whatever he does the rest of his career, he'll never get that stench of a game being. He'll never get that stench. Like no matter what James Harden does no matter what James Harden does for the rest of his career, he'll never get that stench of a Game 7 that he always underperformed in the Game 7 off of him, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the Clippers obviously got knocked out. My prediction before that was Clippers in 7 because I felt the duo of Kawhi and James Harden would outplay Nuggets duo of Jokic and Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray was amazing, I think, for Game 4. I think he put up like 30-something points. I think it was Game 4 or Game 5 where he came. That's when he came to the party. Jamal Murray came to the playoff party. I think Game 4 or Game 5 where he put up 30-something points. And you know what? Jokic wasn't actually great in this series, to be completely honest with you. I think it was mediocre for the whole series, in my opinion. I know he put up a couple of triple-doubles, but he wasn't the same Jokic we saw. So I kind of feel scared for the Thunders in the next round because the longer the playoff goes on, the better Jokic get from his history. So I am really looking forward to the next matchup of the Thunders and Nuggets. I believe, for my prediction for that, I think the Nuggets are going to beat them in 6 or 7 games. That's my prediction in that one. Yeah, so that's all for today. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. If you have an opinion on anything I've just said in this podcast, make sure you leave a comment and we can have a debate over it. Thank you.